And the story is told about Bill Gates when he started his foundation, going to visit a woman in a developing country. She lived in a hovel. There's no other way to describe it. My grandma's house would have looked like a palace to her. She lived, you've seen the pictures, you know what they look like. These places. She lived in this little hovel. And Bill Gates went in and he spoke to her, and she sits there. Hello, yes. And the interpreter says, how are you? And she says, I'm very well, thank you. And Bill Gates goes on his way and says, something must be done. And the story is that the reporter said to her afterwards, when he'd gone, do you know that that man is the richest man in the world? And the interpreter interpreted it to her. And she said, no, I didn't know that. All the people who come and visit me from the West are rich. Because to that woman, every person she'd ever met from the West was rich beyond her wildest dreams. When we went to Romania, some of the team that came with me from the church that I was at were quite horrified that anything that was left and not locked up, some of the nursing staff would take home. So they'd take nappies home, even if they didn't have a baby, because they could sell them. And our friends who lived out there all the time said, you have to understand, if your income is $40 a month, a nappy, a Pampers nappy, is a small fortune. So if we are rich, and actually, if you're on the average income in this country, £24,000, that puts you in the top 5% of income earners worldwide. You are so rich, you are rich beyond the wildest imagination of 95% of the people in the world. And 99% of the people who've ever lived. You are richer than the richest people who lived 2,000 years ago. Beyond any shadow of doubt. So why don't we feel it? Why don't you feel rich? Why is it that so many people in this country are saying, oh, I'm struggling to make ends meet. We both have to work full time and we can't manage. Why is it? Why is it that people can't make ends meet? Why is it that 2/3 of the credit card debt in Europe is held by people in this country? Why have we run up such vast debts? They say that the personal debt, the debt of individual households, is £1 trillion. That's 1,000,000,000 pounds. That's what they say the average debt, the debt of this, the personal debt of this country is. And the national debt is £700 billion. And it's going to rise to £1.4 trillion in 5 years. These numbers are just too big to imagine, aren't they? We have all this money coming in, all this money in debt, and still we feel poor. Why is it? Because we don't actually compare ourselves with my grandma or the lady living in the hovel. We compare ourselves with Cheryl Cole, who's supposed to have been wearing a gown that cost £25,000 this week. Or 20,000, I can't remember, but what's £5,000 when a frock's involved? You know, she went to get this award from Glamour magazine, the Woman of the Year, in a £20,000 or £25,000 frock. And we look at that and we think, oh, it doesn't quite fit her, does it? But those are the people we compare ourselves with. We see people on TV and we think, oh, if we lived that lifestyle. And the people on TV say, if I lived that lifestyle. When I'm playing a part, I wear these wonderful frocks. I wish I got to keep them. We look at the glossy magazines. We compare ourselves with people who have more than us. We never compare ourselves with people who have less. Everybody thinks everybody else is getting paid more. Teachers tell me that they're badly paid. Nurses tell me that they're badly paid. Doctors tell me that they're not well paid. Engineers tell me that they're not well paid. Everybody's not well paid. I don't know why we go to work. And to be honest, you and I have not earned this wealth that we have. It's not that we've worked hard to get it. I'll tell you who's worked hard. My grandma had worked hard. She used to work in the mill 6 days a week. From 7:30 or 8 in the morning till 5:30 or 6 at night. 6 days a week she'd do that. She worked hard. Physical work. I'll show you a picture. This boy works hard. He lives on a rubbish tip. That's where he lives. He lives all day, every day, on a rubbish tip, sorting through the rubbish. And what he finds that's left over, that's thrown out by somebody, he scavenges it. The food he eats. Anything that's saleable, he takes it and sells it. Talk about recycling. Many thousands, hundreds of thousands of children in the developing world live on rubbish tips. And you and I can make a difference. If you go to www.compassion.uk.org, you can sponsor a child for £21 a month. You'd hardly notice it missing from your pay packet. £21 a month, and that will pay for a child's food and education in the developing world.